Okay, so you start by brushing out the hair, making sure it's free of any tangles. And then what you want to do is part the hair right down the middle, as straight line as possible.
And it looks like that goes all the way down the back.
A little cowlick right here. Now I use a pump of the Perfect Me just to help with flyaways. Put it in throughout the hair.
This is not, you don't have to have this product.
No, you don't have to. I just like to use it because it helps with the flyaways a little bit more. I like to focus on the hairline quite a bit since that's mainly the place that you'll be able to see the flyaways more. Start by sectioning, like right here in the center of the part. Make a triangle section. Break it into 3 separate sections. And then just Dutch braid. So instead of going over like a French braid, you would go under, section halfway. I like to think of like halfway where you want your braid to end up flowing. So you add to the piece and then section to the other half, add it, and then go under, and then section. Smooth as you go so that way you don't have any bumps in the braids. And then just continue adding to every section before you take it under. And the braid should start forming as you see it coming along. You do want to make sure that you're putting a little bit of tension, quite a bit, so that way the braid isn't coming out up from the scalp. And keep it as tight to the scalp as you can. Once again, just adding to every section that you go. Make sure the sections are consistent and even, or else you will get an uneven braid and it won't end up being a straight braid. As you can see, when we finish, the braid will be straight and like in a line.
Does anything change as you go to the back of the head?
No, but some people have a tendency to want to pull away from the scalp as they get to the nape of the head. And what you want to do is make sure your hand stays close to the scalp as possible to prevent any lifting from happening. So that way there aren't any bubbles in the hair.
Do you find it easier if you use the product?
Yes. Now you can either hairspray before or after you start braiding. It just depends on if you know the person has really tender head. Hairspray before braiding isn't a good idea because it creates the hair to be a little bit more sticky and harder to grab a hold onto. And you can have the person move their head however you need them to do so to make your job a little bit easier.
So towards the back, you have them put their head down?
Yeah, just to make sure that you can get as close to the scalp as possible because the end is where a lot of people tend to start raising their hands up towards them, and you want to make sure you get it as close to the scalp as possible. Kind of brush through the hair because the braid, once you start braiding, you'll notice that sometimes it likes to grab some bubbles. Make sure that it's as smooth as possible. secure with an elastic. And then to finish off, I use the Sebastian Reshaper hairspray to spray over the braid, kind of smooth out the braid. And then with your comb up to the braid and it'll smooth out any rough edges that you have there. And there's your Dutch braid. And there's the final look.